You've probably built some walls around your heart to keep yourself safe. Let's be honest, we all do it. You learn pretty early on that showing how we truly feel can be risky. So, brick by brick, we build a fortress with every letdown, every rejection, every embarrassing moment. We tell ourselves this fortress is a shelter, a smart way to defend ourselves from a world that can be careless with our hearts. But what if that fortress you so carefully built isn't a shelter at all, but it's a prison? What if the price for all that protection is the very connection and peace you're looking for? What if the one thing you're doing to protect yourself is actually what's causing you the most pain? For years, many of us were taught that vulnerability is just another word for weakness. But a ton of research and just the quiet real life experience of millions tells us a very different story. The truth is, avoiding vulnerability comes with a hidden heavy cost. It's cost that doesn't show up in our bank accounts, but in our daily lives, in our relationships, our work, and in those silent conversations that we have with ourselves in the middle of the night. Today, we're going to put a name to these costs. We'll look at where they come from and uncover why embracing vulnerability isn't just a nice to have idea. It's the real only path to a connected, wholehearted life. The first surprising cost of keeping your guard up is a life stuck in a state of chronic anxiety. When you consistently push down your emotions, suppressing sadness, ignoring anger, dodging fear, you aren't making them go away. You're just bottling them up. That process takes a massive amount of energy. Think it's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It's exhausting, right? The second you lose focus, that ball shoots to the surface with even more force than before. This constant suppression sends a clear message to our nervous system: your own feelings are a threat. Your brain learns to treat your emotions as dangerous, which puts your body at high alert in the classic fight or flight mode. This isn't just in your head, it's physical. It's a tension in your shoulders, the shallow breathing, the nagging feeling of unease you can't quite put your finger on. It's like living with that quiet buzzing alarm in the background that never shuts off. This habit of dodging difficult feelings, which psychologists call experimental avoidance, actually makes our distress worse over time. Instead of feeling an emotion and letting it pass, we trap it inside where it just festers and grows. Soon, even small problems can feel, completely overwhelming. This is why you might find yourself overreacting to minor setbacks or feeling a sense of dread for no clear reason. It's the build-up pressure of all those unfelt feelings demanding to be heard. The very strategy you used to feel safe has ended up making you feel fundamentally unsafe in your own skin. The second cost is maybe the most heartbreaking. It's a deep, nagging loneliness that can stick around even when you're in a room full of people. We're wired for connection. It's a biological need, just as real as our need for food and water. But here's the thing: real connection cannot happen without vulnerability. It's the glue that holds our relationships together. When you wear emotional armor, you stop others from seeing the real you. You present a polished, safe version of yourself, the one who's always fun, always strong, and always has it all together. But that curated version of you can't truly connect with anyone. Connection happens when you share who we really are, imperfections and all. If you only ever show people a mask, any love and praise that you would get feels hollow because it's for the mask, not for you. You end up feeling unseen, misunderstood, and profoundly alone. This kicks off a painful, vicious cycle. The fear of being rejected makes us hide, but hiding pretty much guarantees we'll feel disconnected, which then just reinforces the fear that we're not worthy of the connection in the first place. This isn't just a feeling. Chronic loneliness possesses serious risks to our physical health, with some studies comparing its long-term impact to well-known risk factors like smoking and alcohol. It can lead to deep sadness, melancholy, and even depression. The fortress we built to keep out the pain of rejection becomes a solitary confinement cell, starving us of the one thing we need to thrive: genuine human connection. If any of this is hitting home, That feeling of being lonely in a crowd or that constant hum of anxiety, I want you to take a moment and write in the comments, I hear you. It's a small act of vulnerability, but it's a powerful way to remind and remember you're not the only one feeling this way, and who knows, you might just make someone else feel a little less alone too. Now, the third cost of avoiding vulnerability is the slow, steady chipping away at your self-worth. Every single time that you dismiss your feelings, you're teaching yourself that your inner world doesn't matter. When you tell yourself, don't be so sensitive or just get over it, you're invalidating your own experiences. Over time, this becomes a core belief. My feelings are wrong, so I must be wrong. This belief often shows as a harsh inner critic. It's the voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough or asks, who do you think you are? This shame is one of the biggest reasons we fear being vulnerable. We're terrified that if people see our flaws, our fears, our failures, they'll just confirm the awful things that our inner critic has been telling us all along. To avoid this, a lot of us try to be perfect. We think that if we can just be the perfect partner, perfect employee, perfect friend, we can dodge the judgment and criticism. But perfectionism isn't about healthy striving. As researcher Brene Brown says, it's a 20-ton shield that we lug around, thinking that it'll protect us when it's actually just crushing us. It's stopping us from taking healthy risks, from being creative, and from just showing up as ourselves. We end up living a life based on what we think other people want to see, instead of a life that truly is ours. And the real irony is that in our quest to prove we're worthy, we disconnect from the very thing that makes us feel worthy in the first place: authenticity, self-compassion, and the courage to be imperfect. So, if these walls are a prison, how do we start taking them down? You don't have to take a sledgehammer to them overnight. It's more of a gradual process about learning to feel safe without them. It's the practice of choosing courage over comfort again and again. First, you have to reframe how you see vulnerability. Vulnerability is not weakness, according to Dr. Brene Brown, whose research has totally changed our understanding of this. Vulnerability is simply uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. More importantly, she says there is no example of courage that was not born from vulnerability. Being vulnerable is one of the bravest things you can do. The path forward starts with small, deliberate steps. Step 1, start with self-awareness. You can't change what you don't acknowledge, so just start by noticing your own patterns of avoidance without judging yourself for it. When a tough feeling comes up, instead of immediately shoving it away, just pause, name it, say it to yourself. This is sadness, and I'm feeling afraid right now. Just acknowledging the feeling is the first step towards moving through it. Step 2, practice sharing with someone who has earned the right to hear your story. Vulnerability isn't about spilling your guts to everyone. It's about building trust by sharing your authentic self with people who have shown you they're worthy of that trust. Start small. The next time a close friend asks, how are you? Try to resist the automatic, I'm fine. Maybe try something a little more honest, like, I'm feeling pretty overwhelmed today. You don't have to unload everything. Just a small piece of your real experience. This is how you build intimacy and teach your nervous system that it's safe to be seen. Step 3, ask for help. For so many of us, asking for help feels like the ultimate sign of weakness, but in reality, it's an act of profound strength. It shows you trust others, and just as importantly, you trust yourself enough to admit you don't have all the answers. The next time you're struggling, reach out. Whether it's asking a coworker for help on a project or telling a loved one you just need them to listen. This practice builds a support system that makes being vulnerable feel a whole lot less scary. Step 4, do things that require you to be imperfect. The fear of failure keeps us playing small, so make a conscious choice to be bad at something. Take a pottery class, try a new sport, learn an instrument. The point isn't to become an expert. The point is to get comfortable with the messy process of learning and making mistakes. This builds your resilience and teaches you that you're worthy. Isn't tied up in how well you perform. It's about separating what you do from who you are. So, for years, you might have believed that your emotional walls were keeping you safe. But now we can see that the price of that safety is just too high. It's a quiet life of anxiety, a deep sense of loneliness, and the feeling that you're never quite good enough. The walls we build to keep out the pain also keep out the joy, the love, the belonging, everything that gives your life meaning. The journey of taking down these walls isn't always easy. It will ask you to step into the very feelings you spent so much time trying to avoid. It's going to require courage, but the reward is none less than freedom. The freedom to be seen, to be known, and to be loved for exactly who you are. The freedom to build relationships based on real trust, not a performance or perfection. It's the freedom to finally, truly come home to yourself. The choice is yours. You can stay in the prison of your own protection, or you can take the first brave steps into the open arena of vulnerability, wholehearted living. The choice, as always, is the choice to dare greatly. If this message resonated with you, please subscribe for more content on emotional wellness and finding the courage to live authentically. And remember to share this video with someone who might need to hear that their vulnerability is not a weakness, but their greatest strength. Thank you for watching The Healing Project.